4-2 with the Padres on top, and it is draft day. Always exciting here, and always exciting here in San Diego. AJ Preller, general manager, has joined us. AJ, great to see you. How are things going today?
Calming down. Yeah, it's a fun process, but a pretty hectic process over the last really the last few months, and definitely the last couple of weeks. And it's fun when everybody you get to actually make the picks today. It's kind of Christmas Day for the scouts, so it's a lot of fun for the group.
Tell us about your first round pick.
Third pick in the country. Big pick, big selection for us. And we took Mackenzie Gore, high school left-handed pitcher out of Whitefield High School in North Carolina. He was the Gatorade Player of the Year. He's just a really talented pitcher. He pitched here in the high school All-American game this past summer at Petco. But the biggest thing, I think, coming into the year, he was on our radar, but he just really kept improving a lot. And he's a really good athlete. I think already people are commenting about the delivery and the leg kick, and which we liked. There's some deception there. He's a premium strike thrower. He's a 3-time state champion. He's a two-way player. He plays the outfield as well. Fastball anywhere from 88 to 95, and probably the biggest thing is he's very polished for a high school pitcher. So we're very excited about him.
That's the thing that really stuck out to me, AJ, was he hit .482, two-way player, and I think anytime you can get a player like that, it's just a feather in your cap. And congratulations to your scouts too. So my question is, even though Hunter Green and the first pick escapes my mind,
Royce Lewis,
did you get your guy?
Yeah, I think our group did a great job. I think Nick Brandon, our area scout, Mark Connor, our director, everybody as a whole, Logan White, Dave Post, we got a lot of looks at Mackenzie. He was the guy that we wanted to take on into this draft, and I think the way everything fell out there, when you're picking that high, there's a lot of really talented players and good players, including the two kids you mentioned from Southern California. But from our standpoint, Mackenzie Gore stood out, and we were really excited to draft it. He was there.
How far in depth? Because we mentioned this in our pregame show. In what detail do you get to know Mackenzie Gore? He can pitch. He can throw the changeup. He's got the plus curveball, all that stuff. But as far as Mackenzie Gore, the person, how far in depth do you get into know the kid before you draft him?
Yeah, I think it was a huge separator for us. I think from our scouting group, I think a huge part of our process is getting to know the individual and getting to know what motivates and background and family and who their support staff is, and as deep as you can get, honestly, because these are investments and it's money going into players. Usually the guys that achieve or overachieve, or you look back and there's something special in their makeup or some intangible that they bring to the table. So in Mackenzie's case, there were a lot of meetings, a lot of time spent, both practices, games, times when he was pitching, times when he wasn't pitching, maybe times when he didn't know we were there looking at him. Just want to see how he reacts in all different environments, situations, and he's a pretty easy guy for us to like, honestly.
Okay, second and third, you go with catchers. Tell us about that.
Yeah, with our next pick, Luis Campusano, out of Georgia High School. He's a guy, again, he played here in the All-American game as well in Petco, so we had the opportunity to come here to San Diego. It's hard to find catching, and he was a guy, his dad played professional baseball. With Luis, he's just been catching for 2 years. But he's probably, for us, we thought he was, up there as, if not, one of the best, if not the best high school defensive catcher, that was out there. He sits really well, he receives well, takes a ton of pride in it, which is a huge part of the catching position, blocks well, average arm, and he's his bat, it's a contact bat that knows the strike zone. So, it's hard to find catching. We selected Austin Hedges here a few years ago, and, he looks to be one of the better young catchers in the game. I think with the next two guys we took Luis Campusano and Blake Hunt. We have some guys that I think are going to be big catchers down the road.
Is that Sal Campusano's son?
It is not.
Oh, it's not that Sal.
No,
not that Campusano.
Different Campusano, yeah.
What is it about these two catchers? Are they pretty much the same catch and throw type guys? Can they hit? Can they hit with power, average? How would you describe those two catchers as far as defensively and offensively?
Different body types. Campusano's a little bit, it's more of a stocky body build. He lost some weight here this year. He sits real low, really good receiver, really good blocker. With Blake Hunt, you have a taller catcher, bigger body guy. Don't want to with the punch out, but he's more of your 6'3" catcher, but he also sits well. He's an athlete. He was he's a good runner. He stole bases. He played at Modern Day High School here in Southern California against probably the best high school competition in the country. With Blake Hunt, it's a big arm. He's a guy that's going to be able to probably stop running games with with his physical ability, with his arm strength. So again, I think it's a guy to give our development staff two kids that we think are big league type catchers.
Okay, so you're done today. Tomorrow, what's it look like? How many rounds will take place tomorrow?
Yeah, I believe I probably should know this. I think we go through the 10th round tomorrow, and then after that, it's it's a day 3, through the 40th round. So, I think the thing we've stressed all along is a lot of attention is going to be given to the 3rd pick for sure. But it's a 40-round draft for us, and they're constantly the players. Phil Maton getting called up yesterday. You see it all the time. 17th rounders, 25th rounders. Usually, when you look back on the best drafts and difference-making drafts, you're hitting all the way throughout the draft. You're finding depth guys that your scouts like. That's going to be the challenge for us tomorrow.
I would love to be in that draft room when it gets like around 20, 25, and you get some scouts. And I'm not having you divulge anything, but I am sure that there are some maybe shouting matches between scouts and saying, no, I like my guy I saw in Virginia. No, I like my kid I saw in Utah. Because I think it's pretty easy to look at the talent in rounds 1 through 3, 1 through 4. You can pretty much detect who's going to be taken. But it's round 15, 20, 25. That's when you start getting.
Yeah, I think that's healthy debate, and I think the biggest thing, honestly, that's when the scout is. That's really what you're looking for from your area scouts and your cross checkers, the guys that have driven the miles and done the visits and done the workouts and the practices. That's where they get a chance to make their money, honestly, and that's the difference makers. The guys that may have not been on the scene, or not the showcase guys, or not the guys that other people know. Maybe they see something that somebody else doesn't see. Maybe it's a guy coming back from injury. Honestly, that's where the scout makes their money.
The second from one on the first for 2. Double play turned. AJ, thanks very much. Congratulations on the draft, and we thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Love the bow tie.
Very nice.